Good morning, students. Today we are going to learn about inside the system unit, chapter number 3. Have you ever seen what is inside the big box kept near the monitor? That is the system case. What is inside the system case? No? So, we're going to learn about what is kept inside the big box of the computer system. Okay? So before we start the components inside the system unit, let's learn once again what is a system unit. It is a box-like case that stands near the monitor. We call this as a system case also. The electronic components and the most of the storage devices of a computer reside inside the system unit. Now, the components inside the system unit. It includes motherboard, CPU, RAM, disk drive, and power supply. So let's learn about these one by one. First is a motherboard. It is a large circuit board inside the system unit. It is also known as a system board or a main board. It contains many different types of computer chips. Among these, the important one is microprocessor. It is also known as processor or CPU. Next is CPU. CPU is also known as the brain of the computer. Just like our brain controls our whole body, the CPU controls all the functioning of the computer. That's why it is also known as the brain of the computer. And CPU is also called processor or microprocessor. Now let's learn some of the functions of CPU. The main function of CPU is to control the functions performed by the other components of the computer. As it is the central processing unit, everything to be processed passes through it. Here CPU performs all the calculations and manage most of the operations. So learn here. See, first input is provided to the computer. It goes to the main memory. From there, it goes to the arithmetic and logic unit. It performs the calculation. Then it sends to the control unit. Again, it comes back to the main memory. From there, it goes to the storage device. Again, storage device stores the data and sends it back to the memory. And then at last, it goes to the output unit. Now, what is a control unit? It is a part of CPU which directs and coordinates most of the operations and instructions. That is, a control unit is an integrated circuit in a processor that controls the input and output. Okay. Now ALU, arithmetic and logic unit. It is another part of CPU which performs arithmetical operation, that is addition, subtraction, multiplication and division. It compares the operation like which is greater, smaller or equal to it. And it does the logical operations such as and, or and not. Next is speed of CPU. The speed of a CPU is measured in megahertz or gigahertz. The faster the speed of the CPU chip, the faster the computer can operate. The speed of CPU is increasing day by day. Now we are going to learn about RAM. RAM stands for Random Access Memory. It is the device attached to the motherboard. When a program is started, it is first loaded in the RAM. RAM is also a primary memory or the main memory of the computer. Next is disk drives. These are the devices which are used to store data permanently. Now we are going to learn about the types of disk drives. Among them, the first is hard disk drive. The hard disk drive is used to store data and information for future use. Most computers have one hard disk located inside the system unit. Next is CD DVD disk drive. These reads information stored on compact disk. Next is Blu-ray disk drive. It reads information stored on compact disk like CD, DVDs, etc. Now the next component is the power supply. Many a times computers are plugged into standard wall outlets which supply an alternating current, that is AC. This type of power is unsuitable for use with a computer because it requires a direct current. The power supply converts the wall outlet AC power into DC, that is direct current. Now, another very important component of system unit are ports. These are placed at the back of the system unit that contains number of holes and slots called ports. In these ports, you plug in computer devices such as keyboard, mouse, monitor, etc. So today we learned about the components inside the system unit. In the next chapter, we will be learning about the computer memory. So here the chapter is over. You have to learn it once again. Okay. Thank you.